Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Straight Facts Commentary where I give you my unpopular opinions in everything pop culture. So please stick around and subscribe for more. Hey y'all, I am back again with another video, and in today's video, you see the title, we are going to be speaking about the best and worst songs or albums or singles or just music in general from 2024 from some of our favorite artists or some of the more main artists. I'm going to try to include as many as I can. I might forget some, and if I did forget an artist or a song or an album or whatever, then just drop it down below. Feel free to add in the comments, of course. And in case somebody brings this up, know whoever I'm speaking about at the time in the video isn't going to necessarily correlate to whoever you're seeing on the screen. It might, but it's just a compilation of clips of, female rappers, pop artists, just pop culture people in general. So there is no rhyme or reason or particular order to these clips, just something for you to look at while we talk about the best and worst artists of the year, or the best and worst songs of the year, rather, not the best and worst artists. So I'm gonna go over like some artists and some songs and some albums as examples, and then I guess place them in the best or the worst category based on my opinion. That's how I'm doing this. I don't know how other people do it, but that's how I'm gonna do it. Okay, so the first person I'm going to be speaking about when it comes to the best or worst category that they're going to be put in for 2024 is Ice Spice. So we do know that Ice Spice ended up releasing an album this year called Y2K, and I did a review on it. I did a review on the singles. We've talked about Ice Spice's music a lot this year on this channel. Y2K overall was trash. Okay, overall, in an all sense, it was trash. I feel like she tried to step out of her comfort zone a little bit with some different experimental beats, and she tried to play with her flow a bit, but it didn't end up translating. It didn't end up translated, but I always will give her a little bit of credit for at least attempting some sort of change. But nah, it didn't really pan out. What I will say is, Did It First ended up growing on me. That is the song that I was like, okay, I don't really like it, but then it ended up growing on me later. Like nowadays, I do listen to that song if it happens to pop up on the shuffle. Um, but other than that, I'd say Did It First and Plenty Sun, maybe. From off of her album are the only songs that I will hear or I'll listen to them if they happen to pop up. But yeah, overall, her album was trash, obviously. So we're gonna put her in the worst category for 2024. Okay, so next up we have JT. JT released City Cinderella this year. Anticipated for JT fans or whatever. It was a mixtape, not an album, but there were a lot of good songs on there. I personally am putting JT in my best category for 2024. I'm not talking about sales, by the way. So if somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, well the albums flopped or the singles flopped," in this video, I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about whether or not personally I like the music to put them in the best or worst category for the year. And JT had a solid project, in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of mixed opinions on JT's music and whether they, vibe with it or not. But for me, I really enjoyed it. I'm still listening to a whole bunch of songs. Listen to the intro, Hope, Serving, DOD, 90s Babies, Uncle Al, 90s Babies, bitch. one baby, 90s baby. Uncle Al, Sideways. There's a lot of songs off that project to me that are solid. Okay, like come on, it's a solid project to me. It just there's something about it. There's something about it. The energy around it. It's just very very good, and I'm hoping soon. I'm hoping she's cooking, she's working, and that we're gonna get another project from her very soon. It seems like she is working though, so we'll see. But yeah, definitely going in the best category. Okay, so next up we got Normani. Okay. Normani released her album Dopamine. She released singles like Candy Paint, and she tried to create some sort of buzz initially, and then she completely dropped off with the rollout and didn't look back. Um nah, she has to go in the worst category, unfortunately, because after X amount of years of waiting, I wouldn't say the music was awful. You know how like Ice Spice's music for the most part is just god awful and there's no substance there. I wouldn't put Normani in the awful category, but for the amount of time the fans waited for the project to finally come out, it lacked that anticipation. It lacked that like build up, like, oh, this is what we were waiting for. Like It didn't have that. It fell very flat when it comes to the amount of time. Like, for example, with Cardi B, she has to really come out with a bang when she puts out her album because the fans have been waiting for it so long. If she just puts out something that's okay, not awful, but just okay, it's not going to suffice because we've been waiting for so long. So you have to meet the expectation or the anticipation that the fans have and make sure it's a stellar project. And with Normani, it just wasn't stellar. It was fine, but it wasn't like stellar. You know what I'm saying? She had Big Boy, she had Candy Paint. My favorite song is Insomnia from the album and 159. Those are the songs that I'm streaming the most. But that's only two records. So it's gonna have to go in the worst category. Okay, next up that I want to talk about is Beyonce. Okay. Beyonce released Cowboy Carter, and I did a review on that too. It's not a bad album. I think the album tells a great story, and I think the album is very like cohesive and it flows very well together and everything. But this is not my favorite album of Beyonce's. I streamed the most when the album came out, 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. And now at this point of the year, I don't even stream either of those anymore. I did when they first came out, but the whole album fell flat for me after a while. The song with Miley Cyrus, I forget the name of it, that was pretty good too. The Jolene remake was pretty good too, but I didn't stay on those records for long. And it's so funny because it's like Beyonce did a, country kind of crossover album. I have actual country songs on my playlist from certain country artists that I'm streaming more than Beyonce's album, like Morgan Wallen, and Teddy, I think his name is Teddy Swims, and a couple of other artists that are making country music that is resonating with me a lot. Like, and Shabuzi, different country artists. I'm like, oh wow, I genuinely feel something a little bit more from these songs and artists than I was from Beyonce's album. So I was like, Beyonce's album didn't really resonate with me, so I'm gonna have to put that on the worst list for me. Okay, next up is Billie Eilish for the best and worst. And yes, we all know that Billie Eilish released Hit Me Hard and Soft, an amazing album. So it's definitely on the best list for me. I wouldn't say I stream it like super heavily. There's only a couple of singles off there that I'm like going back to, or like a lot of the viral ones, to be honest with you. But it's still a good album overall outside of the viral records, but definitely best. Like Billie Eilish doesn't really put out bad work, and she doesn't put out anything that what you're not going to resonate with or come back to. I don't know, there's just something about Billie. But like my favorite songs are definitely Birds of a Feather, Lunch, Wildflower, love Billy Down, love Billy Down. So yeah, she's definitely on the best list for me. I'm really excited to see what other music. And then oh yeah, her song with Charlie XCX. I forget the name of it, but y'all know. You don't wanna get guess the color of my underwear. You wanna know what I got going on down there. Is it pretty and pink? Is it so see through? Da 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 do. Okay, so next up is Latto, with her album Sugar Honey Iced Tea. I can't really say that I'm really listening to this album on repeat like that, but there are a couple of songs that I will go back to, like Big Mama, Georgia Peach. If I happen to hear it, I'll let it play, but it's not on my playlist or anything like that. Um, Copper Cove, songs like that, but I wouldn't say that the album in its entirety am I just replaying or whatever. But it did get a lot of like success in terms of like the people who really really mess with Lotto, her tour. There's a lot of conversation around this people how they're perceiving her album on the internet, so that's really good. But for me, out of like, for ranking all the albums that came out this year, all the female rap albums, or just albums, period, not even just female rap, that came out in 2024, Lotto's album's not going to be on my best list. I'd rather put, I wouldn't say it's worse, like it's awful, but it's not making it to the best. So it has to go to the worst by default. So yeah, no. Lotto's album for me wasn't hitting me where you know what I'm saying? It just, yeah. Anyway. Okay, next up is Doechii. Yes, Doechii. Doechii was getting a lot of shine as well this year. Lotto got a lot of shine. Doechii got a lot of shine this year for her album, Alligator Bites Never Heal, which actually is not an album, it's a mixtape. But yeah, oh my gosh. Definitely on my best list. Like Nissan Altima, Slide, Fireflies. Death Roll. Like, there's a lot of songs off of that album that I found myself coming back to. I love Doechii so much. She's just so creative and intuitive and like different, and she's very inspiring. I love her so 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 much. So yeah, she's definitely on my best list. I am excited to see what her album is gonna be, and then we can't forget what it is. I don't think what it is dropped in 2024 though. I think that was 2023 if I'm not mistaken, y'all. Let me know. Either way, amazing song, commercial single. I hope she gets more of those on her album because we need her to, be launched fully into the spotlight, into the mainstream. That's the goal. That's the dream. So yeah, definitely on my best. And moving on to the next artist, who we're gonna go. Oh, Camila. Camila Cabello is next. Okay, so with Camila, I did a review on this album as well and a couple of her singles and just the overall perception of the album. I made a couple of videos on that when this album first dropped and people were giving their opinions. Most people don't really care for this album like that. There are a lot of songs that actually grew on me though. Like I love it. I love that song, but a lot of people hated it. Dade County Dreamin', love that song. I actually like one of the new songs that she put out. I didn't like it at first, but Godspeed. What was another one? Ah, yes, June Gloom. June Gloom was the other one. So there are solid songs for me on this album. Um, but it wasn't the entirety of the album. And the reason why it's gonna have to go in the worst is because I know Camila Cabello can do better. She can do better. We've heard her put out singles and albums before that were way better than the songs on this album. There were a couple of songs that grew on me over time, but it took months for a lot of the songs to, the ones that finally grew on me to grow on me. Versus when, she's put out other albums and other singles, it was almost instantaneous because they were just great. Um, yeah, I feel like I don't know what she's gonna do next era, but next era she should probably go back to her brown hair and just go back to the like I don't know what this era was trying to prove. Um, but yeah, no, it's gonna have to go in the worst just simply because I know Camila can do more. She can do better than this. She really can. So yeah, moving on to the next artist. Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande. Okay, so Ariana Grande. Eternal Sunshine, the album that she just put out this year, amazing. Like the entire album is amazing. There's not really any skips on it, to be honest with you. Bye, Don't Want to Break Up Again, Eternal Sunshine, Supernatural, Boy Is Mine, Yes and We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love. Like come on, no. The entire album is tea. On top of that, we have the whole entire Wicked soundtrack that you can, go to her discography and listen to as well if you're into Broadway, if you're into musicals. Um, yeah. On top of that, I'm getting ready to go and see Wicked again for the second time with a group of my friends, and we're probably gonna wear PJs and bring blankets and hot chocolate and all the fun, amazing stuff. And yes, Ariana Grande has just done it this year. She has done it. She has done it. Um, Definitely in the best category. Okay, so next up is Taylor Swift with the Tortured Poets Department. I have nothing to say about the album. It was way too long. Well, I have nothing positive to say about it. It was way too long. There was the song Fortnite with her and Post Malone that went up for her, which is wonderful, but I didn't care for that song, even though that song was supposed to be. And it's like, it's so crazy how like much accolades this album has got, but nobody really talks about it in comparison to like Brat, Charlie XCX. Oh, totally separate person, but like Brat. I was about to say worst. Brat, Charlie XCX, best. Like, she's on the best list. We had a Brat summer. Not only that, not just because we had a Brat summer, but it was actually a good album. Like, we'll get into Charlie in a second. But yeah, Taylor, no. Taylor, no. Like, the album had very minimal conversation around it commercially, even though it was a commercial project that did well commercially. And, she had the Eras tour, still going on. And then, the stands of Taylor and things like that. I get it. But the only song I think I liked from the Tortured Poets Department was Down Bad, I think. And Down Bad, and I think the song was called The Black Dog or Black Dog or something like that. So maybe two tracks out of an album that had like 30 songs on it or some shit like that. So no. No, 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 no. Hell no, going in the worst list. Okay, so like I was saying about Charlie XCX, we have Brat, right? I might say something stupid. 360, Von Dutch, Sympathy is a Knife. Like, come on. Apple, come on, come on. Yes, Charlie XCX's Queen is Queen. A lot of people were saying that this album was overhyped. I can kind of see that a little bit why people would say that, just because Charlie XCX is not a mainstream artist and she doesn't have that mainstream sound. So people were probably like, well, where did she get all this hype from? All of a sudden, this type of music isn't even like really mainstream. But I guess it's becoming a little bit more mainstream now, which is good for Charlie because she's been making music underground with the similar sound for years and nobody's really paid her any mind, since the boom clap days of it all and all that. So I'm really happy for her. I'm extremely happy for her. And I really enjoyed the album. I know a lot of people didn't really care for it. I almost left Charlie out. Oh my God. Somebody's going to kill me for leaving out their fave because I know I'm going to leave someone out. I just don't know who it's going to be yet. Next up we have Saweetie. Um, she released some songs this year. She didn't release any albums. Um, but no, she's released a couple like Christmas songs, and then she released Nani. Nani was a good record. I personally like Nani, even though nobody went up for that song at all, even though it's supposed to be a single for her. Um, Nobody has been in Sweetie's corner this year at all. She's released freestyles. I think she just released one the other day. Was it on the radar? I don't know what kind of freestyle style she released, but it was something recent. Um, no, though. Other than Nani, which isn't enough, and the people don't even care for that song. To put her in the best category, she can't go in the best category. She hasn't really been. She's been working, she's been doing stuff, but it hasn't been hitting. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Sweetie needs to put out an album at this point. It's just not necessary. She's gonna have to go on the worst list because out of everything she's dropped, the only thing that I've personally liked was Nani. Um, Next up, we can go Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan. Okay, so with Chappell Roan, she didn't release an album in 2024. She released an album in 2023, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, okay? But she did release her single Good Luck Babe this year, and that's kind of what catapulted her and what, had people go back who didn't know her like myself to revisit her old work, and I fell in love with that album. Oh my gosh, that album is amazing. And at first I wasn't really big on Chapel. I was just like, Good Luck Babe is cute. I listened to it a little bit and Hot to Go was cute, but I didn't get into her other if you actually get into the album, Casual, Pink Pony Club, like uh continue on, keep on. Like it's a great project. Like yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, it's just it Chapel really took over this year for not having put out an album at all this year, just a single. So whenever she finally does put out her next project, oh my gosh, it's gonna go up for her. It's really gonna go up for her. Next up in the conversation is GloRilla. Glo released her album Glorious, and if you guys are like consistently watching this channel, then you know that I love GloRilla. I've been loving her for a bit now. I reviewed her mixtape when it came out, and then also her album. I also bought the physical of her album Glorious. It's just a masterpiece. I love it. Hold on, Procedure, TGIF, what you know, Stop Playing. So many different songs. Glow has took over this year. She has completely took over this year, and it was completely unexpected for her to get this big this year. I was not expecting. A lot of people had counted her out after Cha 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 had came out, and it just wasn't doing it for nobody. Glow is amazing, and I hope to, for her to continue on her success next year. I really do. I'm so proud of her. So so proud of her. So definitely on the best list for Glow this year as far as artists. Next is Katy Perry. I'm his freak. I'm his this. I'm every woman he wants and this. I'm his. Oh, it's funny how she's actually on the screen right now. That wasn't planned. Okay, so Katy Perry released her album 143 or 1432. Thought it was 143. I'm tripping. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, I don't even know because I wasn't listening to her album like that. I did a review. No, I didn't do a review on it. No, I remember explicitly I didn't do a review on it because it was so bad and it was so lackluster that it was pissing me off that I didn't really have anything to say about any of the songs. Like, all the songs pretty much sounded exactly the same. The only song that I liked was, wait, I think Nirvana? Other than that, they were all terrible. Like, they were all terrible and they were all generic dance pop records. And I don't do videos unless I want to do a video on something. It could be a relevant topic, it could be an irrelevant topic, whatever it might be. I have to want to make a video on that thing. And I did not want to make a video on Woman's World because, or on not Woman's World, on Katy Perry's album, because I was like, this is just not it. I did talk about her perception a lot in other videos, but I didn't speak about the album itself as far as a full-on review because it just wasn't worth it to me because it was that bad. Not just based on what other people were saying about it, just simply because I felt like it was bad. It was not good. I don't think I honestly don't think Katie's gonna be able to come back from it. I really, really don't. I would love to hope she would because she is an icon, but at the it's clearly that, like, the best of Katie's work is behind her, so I don't really see her coming out with anything crazy amazing in the next year or so. I'd be very surprised. So yeah, definitely on the worst list. Okay, so next up is Tyla. I don't listen to Tyla, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna say her album is worse per se because her music isn't bad, but I don't think it's not necessarily for me. Water was cute. Push to Start isn't bad. Truth or Dare isn't bad. But my songs that I'm listening to by Tyla is Back to You and Push to Start now, actually. Back to You and Push to Start. But other than that, I'm not listening to songs by Tyla. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like she's a bad artist. No, she's just not I'm just not into her. I just don't get into her like that. But Tyla, I can't really put her on the best for me personally because I don't listen to her. But I can't put her on the worst because she's not bad either. So, like, I'm just indifferent when it comes to Tyler, really. Okay, so Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet is the next, and this is best. I love Sabrina Carpenter so much. I bought a physical again of her project, and I loved her entire album. It's really no skips. Um, and even the songs that you would consider skips are still decent. Like, if you were gonna skip any songs, maybe one or two, and even those are still decent. So it's just like, no, Sabrina Carpenter's everything. She did an amazing job this year, and I feel like she's going to be going also into 2025 swinging as well. I don't see Sabrina Carpenter slowing down. She's like in that phase where when Doja Cat first broke out with Say So, and she just was hitting the gas ever since then. I think that that's what they're going to have Sabrina do. She's not going to slow down anytime soon. Um, and this video is getting long. I can't put every single artist that I really want to talk about in this video because it's already past 20 minutes at this point. But best, definitely best for Sabrina. Who else? Lady Gaga. She released a couple of singles this year, but I don't think did she release an entire album? I think she released like an EP or something for like a soundtrack for something. And then she also released Die With a Smile. That was her standout moment for me. Die With a Smile was her better song in comparison to the other songs and videos that she released this year. I wouldn't put her in the best of like out of everybody of the year or the worst. Like again, kind of a little bit indifferent, but Die With a Smile definitely saved it because if it wasn't for that, I really don't know because I don't really care for the other tracks that she put out. Chloe Bailey, she did release an entire album, Trouble in Paradise. Um, I think there are certain songs off of there that I do like more than In Pieces, but I feel like I'm almost feel the same way about In Pieces I do about Trouble in Paradise. They almost are like equal quality level to me of albums. Again, a little bit indifferent with Chloe's album, but I like Chloe's album more than I like Normani. So no, I will say best if we're gonna compare those two. But I can't say no, I can't say worst, and I can't say yeah. So we'll do best for we'll do best for Chloe in that regard. But I again, knowing Chloe, I feel like she can do better though. I feel like she can do better. I don't know, especially when she put out Ungodly Hour with her sister. We know that they're both capable of putting out better work than what they have been. Oh, somebody got to add really quick. I almost forgot. Megan Thee Stallion. Okay, Megan Thee Stallion. She released her album Megan, her self-titled album, and then she also released Act 2. I'm gonna base it off of Act 1 since that was the debut, that was the original project, minus any deluxes. I already told y'all, if y'all watch my channel, I'm not really big on Megan Thee Stallion's latest project, Megan. It just doesn't hit to me in comparison to her older work. She can do so much better. I liked Act 2, but just basing it off of the original without any deluxes or any additional songs, just the first project that she released, no. She has put out way better work, way better singles than what was presented on Megan. So for me, that's going to go in the worst just because it's just, Act 2 was a bit better, but still, Megan, the original, nah, didn't really cut it for me. But yeah, so I probably missed some people. I almost forgot Megan, literally. So if I missed anyone, I apologize. But I love you guys so much. I got to get out of here. And that's it. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.